We just witnessed the greatest attack of the US Chess Championship so far. Mr. Hans Niemann executed it, playing black 3 brilliancies in one game. He opened with this solid and steady Nimzo-Indian defense against Sam Shankland, a former winner of the tournament, a super grandmaster. They're in St. Louis, it's classical chess over the board, prepare for absolute genius. Where did this guy come from? I tell ya, his star is on the rise. It starts so solid and steady. Pawn a3, bishop now dropping back, queen c2, and the solid and steady move is pawn to c ships. But Niemann plays the knight out to a6. Weird looking idea. I mean, can't you mangle the structure? Well, yes, but okay. Black gets counterplay with the bishops. You can fire back like this, open files. It's a very different game. By the way, if you want to learn these kind of crazy, weird, different openings, do check out Lotus Chess. I'll keep playing with the game here, but show you a bit of side footage so you can see what Lotus looks like. Link in the description. Niemann firing at the center here, and now we get castles simply, allowing the pawn to kick on. So it takes the tension off the center. Will white somehow achieve e4 one day? Maybe after f3 preparation, or jump a knight, play f4, rook up, and then attack and kill. Whoops, can't draw arrows. Well, okay, we're going to find out, because Niemann drops back, looks to pawn storm here with b5, a5, and it's such a threat that Sam decides to deal with it. So Niemann switches plans. This is stunning. Knight a6. I mean, this is why he practices. This is why he maneuvers. Sure, you can undermine my structure. Don't Botez gambit. Takes, and he secures this square for the knight. Really fascinating opening battle. Bishop f5 now played. It's the way to go. This was a bit passive. This converges on this sensitive square. And so Sam fights back by thrusting the a-pawn, and it stops black from ever going pawn a5, although that could have been risky. You give a square. It's a rich strategic battle here. Rook c8, it's where rooks belong on the open file, so bishop d2 covers the piece and sets up a very rare sight. Yes, it's a bathtub made of pieces. Stunning chess in St. Louis right now. a6 from Niemann, and it's a mistake. It creates holes in the structure, not good. You can punish like this, think exchange Slav structures, that kind of thing. Or you can play the wild knight b5, hang on a minute, pawn e3, pawn e1, can't I just take? Well, yes, but then this is on prise since you opened the eyes of the bishop. This, and it's a better structure for white. You're even going to end up a pawn ahead. So that was the way to go, one of these jumps, but Sam misses it. He plays the move, pawn g3, and it's a bit strange. It's up there with Chief Arbiter Chris Bird pretending he's Mary Poppins for the week. He's really running hard with it right now, takes the role very seriously, sometimes even breaks into song spontaneously. They have had to have a word with him about that. It was too much for Hans Niemann at certain points, but he does love it. Goes deep into the night at times, really takes the job seriously. Wonderful brolly he's got there. Genie's really supportive, loves to ring the bell. Queen e7's now played, overprotecting the knight, but after rook fc1, Niemann going for the double stack, we see knight e5 looking to use the fact that the dark squared pieces are a bit overloaded, because if you try and capture twice, well, you lose a piece. This is the point of the knight jump. So we just get this. Undeterred, doubling those rooks, and the best way to go, bishop d1. But it's important to always understand computer moves. It's saying that so you protect c2. Then you prepare knight a4 without problems. But it wasn't played. Queen b2 played. Question mark, what's the problem? Why is the butt flap fold out of old stock Squidington? You're about to find out. And it's connected with what I just mentioned. The square's not adequately protected. This is the first brilliant move of 3 to come. It's knight to c2, and out of nowhere, you win an exchange. Now the point is, this one is captured in the game, but if you save the rook, then there's bishop a3, and anyway you win an exchange. That square's covered twice, but it's covered, more times by black. So you can't lift the rook and save it. If rook a2, I guess there's problems, is there? Still bishop a3, yeah. So in the game, takes, bishop takes. Now hang on, can't the queen take? Well, bishop b4 is the follow-up move. And without going down every line, there's simply no way to rescue this piece. It's going to drop because it can't move, because then the queen hangs. There's not enough defenders, you can't get the rook around, and knight e4 is coming to intensify the pressure. So it just drops off the board. So therefore, we didn't see queen takes. We saw knight g4, and it's getting razor sharp. Because if you capture, not played, but these are important variations, then bishop takes hitting a rook, and this is still hanging, and knight d5 is now a threat since you removed the defender. It falls apart. So no takes. Niemann gets that bishop out of dodge. Now we see takes. You can technically go with the queen, but then f3, is the bishop getting trapped? Actually, no. You can do this ninja stuff, attack the king, use the tactics here. Let's not go into it. Sorry, that's my phone pinging off. Let me silence it. Probably the chess mafia. I am on the payroll. In the game, we saw pawn takes here.
But we do have a pawn structure that only a mother could love. I mean, it's just not attractive at all.
Bishop g4 in response. Fine, not the most precise moves, but let's crack on to the good stuff. f5 blunts that one out. Bishop e2. And now when you run this with the all-powerful Stockness monster, it wants some queen improvement. Slowly build up. But Niemann doesn't do that. He plays pawn h5. This uncompromising attacking style he's got. Bishop takes, king g7 reveals the point. Again, the bishop drops back. Sam going for the yo-yo stuff here. He loves it. Got a pogo stick for Christmas so he can visualize this back and forth. Make a threefold if needed. Rook h8 is played. And now just to demonstrate a point, if you stick the knight on the edge of the board, let's say, going for this sort of thing, well, there's a tactical finish. Well done if you can see the pattern. Rook takes on h2. King takes, queen check, and you cannot capture. It's illegal. King goes and mate. Very, very common patterns, this kind of bishopy thing and streaming out with the queen. So let's run back. We saw h4 to blunt that stuff, but now we get it. The wild rover. That's rook up and over. Knight takes on e4, eliminates at least one of those attacking pieces. It was the best move, and now you really have to play bishop e1, do some defensive work, but rook b1 played. I mean, that is bold. It's a red rag to a bull. Choose how you want to rip open the white man cave. Niemann goes with rook takes on h4.
It's an absolute banger. It's a game changer.
Given the miss, as you can see, but it still leaves black with an advantage. Now bishop takes here was actually better for ripping open the king. And then of course the queen streams in, the rook swings over. Very long complicated lines though, because after the bishop drops back to defend, the queen can also come to g2 and stuff. Far from obvious. So this is the game. Of course you capture. You have to. Queen takes. You're an entire bishop up for a pawn, but black stands a bit better. What an attack this is. And here comes the second brilliancy of the game. It's bishop to g3. Would you look at this chess? I mean, what an exciting player Hans Niemann is. If you capture the bishop, not played, then this just leads to a checkmate. You can't run because of the pawn, the bishops don't help. You just bring in one more attacking piece, and queen and rook are enough to actually get the job done. Different lines, but that's the gist of it. So you can't take. So I was about to say king e1, bishop e1. Natural defensive move, of course. You swing the rook, of course. Then we see queen c2. You can't quite crash through just yet. Queen c2 now sets up these sort of swinging geometry ideas to get the queens off. Maybe also you defend like this with the rook one day. So Niemann checks. Look at the time. He's 10 minutes down. They're approaching the time control. It's really getting tight now. King d2 is best. Just getting on the running shoes. And the best move here is king c1. Tuck it away. You can't quite win a bishop because the queen hangs. You can take here with check, but white survives like this. Very complicated. But we didn't see king c1. We saw bishop e2, covering the king, opening the rook on the bishop, but now in response, the third brilliancy of the game. Can you guess the move? It's bishop takes on e3.
In this endgame, I gave a piece.
What?
Gave a piece.
A picture on the board. A bishop stack. I don't know what we call that. I didn't think of a name. I've just seen the picture of it as we get here, right? I'm trying to get out to a chess game myself soon, playing in the league. I play league chess every Thursday. And if you capture, where's the checkmate? Look at that. The way the pawn supports it is just beautiful. So let's run back. You can't capture, so the king runs. Queen g1 played. Rook takes b7 best. But fine, let's run with the game. Queen c8, and it gets those double question marks of doom. It goes for a queen exchange, but it actually allows this bishop to sidle in, and then the pawn runs, and it's too much to show. But the gist is that after queen g4 check, you can block with the rook. Queen takes, rook takes, and you stay on here, and there's too many problems. Bishop's on f2 in that line. So that was best, but Niemann does this, blocking the check, opening up the queen on here. So rook takes on b7. It is a good move, best move. You could take on d4. The lines are too long and varied. Let's stick with the game. Niemann goes for the piece, and if you try and cover with the queen, not played, well, then this rook just enters the party. You know, something like this, and it leads to this devastating kind of attack. Here's one sample, but actually the pawns and the exposed king are better than the bishop. So back to the game. We didn't see this. We didn't see queen c3 defending, sorry. We saw check, forcing them off the board, but now the rook can invade, win back the piece. Sam's seen this. He's crashing through on the f-pawn here, but first he has to decide where to put his king. Where should it go? He goes wrong. It should go here. You walk into a check, so it looks so unnatural, but you step up and you're on the e2 square. You're okay. This is actually best. You know, something like this. Doesn't matter what you do. You stay with that pawn. Very nice. But in the game, king c2. The bar drops again. What an exciting game. Check. But the reason this is bad is so complex. Pawn dropping, e3, bishop c4 covers the square, check, king goes, and how do you proceed? If you advance the pawn, will you drop the rook? I mean, what do you do? Do you bounce the bishop? Do you sort of step with the king? I mean, this is about to drop. Like, what do you play? This is the answer. Well done if you saw the move, even despite my misdirection there, because after king takes rook, not played, you make a queen. And not only that, wherever the king steps, there are various lines here, but you win an unprotected rook, and it's unavoidable even if it takes a couple of checks. So no king takes rook. We saw bishop giving itself up here. Now there's some stuff going on, but we'll stick with the game. This is the best line. Pawn now defended, and this is a winning endgame for black with the extra piece, because you've got a pawn. Exchange all the pawns, theoretical draw. Sometimes it gets won, but theoretical draw. This is how the game proceeded, and it really was a stunningly masterfully played endgame. Niemann just rearranging the pieces here. Rook makes way for king, bishop then drops back, rook here, don't take, then this, and you drop a pawn, should be a draw. So back to the game. Niemann didn't rush it. What's that Russian saying? You know, take it nice and slow. Don't know what it is. And this is quite nice and instructive. If you take, this is not a draw, because the pawn is in the right colour corner for the bishop to support. If it was this pawn, it'd be a draw because the king gets back and it sits there. So this was the game. Rook stay on the board. King c5, d6. Again, don't take. Rook g6 check, win the a pawn. So this and this and this, and resigns. Because what to do anymore? Something like this, whatever. Ultimately, these stuff is just dropping. You know, you can wait around, whatever it is, doesn't matter. This stuff's going through. Rook, bishop, too much. You're a dead man. Incredible win by Hans Niemann there. Hope you loved this one. Smash subscribe if you did, and have a look at the video on screen for an absolutely phenomenal game by Mr. Hans Niemann himself. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.